Hello enthusiasts, and welcome to this new video from the website www.moonwatch.fr. Today I am offering you a review of a Longines Hydroconquest, a chronograph, diving watch, very sleek with a very sporty side, a Swiss watch that remains affordable. The Longines Hydroconquest automatic chronograph is aimed at those who are looking for a diving watch that combines technical excellence and elegance. Based in Switzerland, in Saint-Imier since 1832, the Longines watchmaking company benefits from over 175 years of uninterrupted expertise and a strong sporting heritage as the official timekeeper of world championships such as the Olympics, tennis and equestrian events. An eminent member of the Swatch Group, which is the world's leading manufacturer of watch products, the winged hourglass brand offers elegant watches with perfect finishes. Clearly, Longines is not new to automatic chronographs, as the Swiss watchmaker began producing timing equipment in 1878. With this model, the Hydroconquest chronograph, the brand unveils an automatic diving watch equipped with a chronograph, which remains exceptional for a timepiece designed to descend into the depths. The Hydroconquest range from Longines is renowned particularly for being excellent products at reasonable prices. The model I am presenting to you today is the Longines Hydroconquest chronograph reference L3.696.4, 3.696.4. This is a watch that was produced in 2015. It is a men's watch with a steel case. This automatic chronograph watch houses the Longines caliber L688.2. It is an automatic caliber with 27 joules that beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour. The power reserve of this movement is 54 hours. The water resistance of the watch is rated at 30 atm or 300 meters. The unidirectional bezel has 220 clicks. On the case, there is a screw-down signed crown and two push buttons. The sapphire crystal, on the other hand, is scratch-resistant and has multiple layers of anti-reflective coating, both on the outside and inside. The diameter is 40 mm while the thickness is 15 mm. The bracelet is made of steel with a deployant clasp signed with the winged hourglass and the brand. There are several complications, obviously, the date and the chronograph. Let's now talk about the case, the bezel and the crown of this Longines Hydroconquest chronograph. First of all, the case of the Longines Hydroconquest chronograph is massive and heavy. When you hold the watch in your hand, you immediately feel that the watch is handling itself well. It is heavy and exudes solidity. The case is made of stainless steel and measures 41 mm in diameter and 50 m in thickness. So, we have a watch with suitable dimensions for a diving chronograph watch, moreover, but it remains a relatively thick watch. And once again, very heavy. It has a real presence on the wrist, you can feel the watch. You won't forget you're wearing the watch, given its weight. Next, what we can say is that a black ceramic unidirectional bezel with 120 clicks equips this Longines Hydroconquest. I will turn it for you. So, no play on the bezel, very well filmed bezel. You feel a certain resistance when turning the bezel. With the camera, I can't exactly see the folds. The noise is relatively loud, no play, once again, so really high quality glasses. You can dive with them. We already know that the bezel will not turn. During the dive, it will be fixed, which is rather a good thing. So glasses that are quite difficult to turn, but that prevent misalignment during a dive. We also find a small luminova dot as a marker on the triangle. Well, there you go. Then we find the silver markers all around the bezel. Regarding the crown, so the crown is relatively long, fluted. It is screwed down and signed with the small winged hourglass of Longines. At first, when I got the watch, given the length of the crown, I was afraid it would be uncomfortable to wear. Not at all. That's not the case at all. And as a result, the crown is very, very pleasant to use. Excellent grip, plus it's screwed down, so for diving, no problem. The crown allows you to set the time and date, of course. Not the date, excuse me, I made a small mistake. The crown allows you to set the time. The date is set by a small push button located here at 11 o'clock. So, the date is set by this small push button. What else can we say about the crown? Not much else. So good grip, nothing more to add on that. Then we find two push buttons. Very easy to activate and operate, good usability. When you press them, well, the watch isn't very wound up. I'll wind it a bit to be able to operate them. So, the chronograph push buttons. Very easy to use. Easily operable, no resistance, so that's a good thing as well. Let's see, hop. Instantly. The second hand starts, we stop it. Reset, no difficulty. So, you really feel the quality in this product. Longines. Good quality, whether it's the crown, which doesn't wobble, or the buttons. Pushers are... So that's very pleasant as well. Next, we also find a screwed case back that I will show you. So, a superb case, a screwed ring on which we find the hourglass and the two engravings, as well as several inscriptions. We can thus read Hydroconquest, Swiss-made water-resistant all stainless steel, a serial number, the reference number L3.696.4. Le 3964, and we can also read the FCO logo for Ernest Francillon and Company. Finally, we find the brand name Longines. It is a case back that is screwed on, and it protects the movement while ensuring water resistance up to 300 meters. The dial of the Hydroconquest chronograph is relatively busy. We find the numbers 1 at 12 o'clock, especially around the perimeter. They are also surrounded by superluminova dots that allow reading in dark environments. At 12 o'clock we find the Longines logo with the automatic inscriptions. 30 bar, 300 meters on two lines. We will note a central texture of the dial that differs from the outer texture. I will try to show you. You see, we can see that the outer dial is black, and in the center, in the circle, we have a slightly darker black. It's simply the texture that is different. So very nice. In the sunlight, the reflections are quite astonishing. Quite pleasant. It changes from a plain dial. Quite simply. Then we find three subdials arranged in 3, 6, 9. So very compact, more original than a Valjoux 7750, which is arranged in 6 to 9 to 12. Personally, I prefer it. I find it more harmonious within the watch. So the seconds are displayed at 9 o'clock, and then we find the minute dial at 3 o'clock, and the hour subdial at exactly 6 o'clock sharp in the evening. Each subdial is encircled by a silvered ring, and we note that the 3 o'clock subdial features a red border, which adds a bit of zest to this dark dial, to this black dial. It gives a little bit of energy, especially since it slightly reminds one of the two red hands, so I really like it. We also find the Swissmed inscription at 6 o'clock here, as well as a date window positioned between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock. The readability of the date window is perfect. Black font on a white background, framed in white, so perfect. The hour and minute hands, all the hands in fact, are silver, except for those on the subdials at 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. The hour and minute hands are coated with superluminova. What else can we say? The chronograph's second hand is silver with its tip painted red. This makes it easier to read the chronograph seconds. We also have a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective treatments on both sides, both inside and outside, which protects the dial. So this sapphire crystal is scratch resistant. The anti-reflective treatment makes reading easier. So that's all quite of very good quality. Once again, Longines, here we have a very nice product. As for nighttime readability, it is excellent. The Superluminova product used by Longines is very powerful and quite durable over time. Another good point, very good thing. To conclude on this dial, we can say that despite the overloaded appearance of the dial, this Hydroconquest chronograph is rather well designed and very readable. You quickly get used to the layout of the dial, the numbers, etc. The hands being relatively large, the time reading is done very well. As a result, excellent visibility. This Tricompax is really very pleasant to look at. Regarding the movement of this Longines Hydroconquest automatic diving watch, we can say that the Swiss watch houses a caliber L6 88.2. 68.2. This movement, a chronograph with date and column wheel, is based on an ETA ASO 8.L01. Longines specifically commissioned the ETA company and funded the exclusive development of this automatic movement. It is a movement equipped with 27 joules. It offers a power reserve of 54 hours and oscillates at 28,800 beats per hour. It is an automatic movement, silent, and the oscillating weight is discrete. You never feel the oscillating weight when wearing the watch on the wrist, which is relatively pleasant. This is not the case with all chronographs, especially chronographs of this thickness. Here, honestly, you never feel the oscillating weight, so it's very pleasant. The column wheel chronograph is arranged in a 369 layout with a date window between 4 and 5 o'clock. It offers excellent user comfort and its construction meets the demands of chronometry. Like the great Swiss manufacturers, Longines has decorated its movement. Unfortunately, you cannot see it since the back of the Longines Hydroconquest is made of steel. The choice of steel was favored over a transparent caseback, simply because it is a diving watch that can go down to 300 meters deep, and as a result there were certain technical requirements. This Longines caliber L6 88.2 is a high-end movement. That's why Longines uses it in its most luxurious models. It's a movement with which I've never had any issues. I use the chronograph a lot. It works perfectly, whether it's resetting the chrono, the time, the drift, which is a few seconds per day, the date change, which is done very well, the speed, the pusher. So recently on a forum I was talking with a friend who bought the new Longines collections, which are equipped with a screw-down crown for changing the date. It's a screw-down crown with a simple pusher. He explained to me that this pusher button was actually one of the main causes of watches being returned to after-sales service, simply because by using it repeatedly, a small play develops and the watch becomes no longer waterproof. Honestly, I've never had any issues. I don't know, I must use it The button maybe 4 or 5 times a year to set the date, maybe not even that. And frankly, the watch is still waterproof, no problem. So that's it regarding this movement. Like its massive case, the steel bracelet of the Longines chronograph Hydroconquest exudes solidity and is heavy. It has a strong presence on the wrist and, against all odds, the bracelet is extremely comfortable. When I first held the watch, I had serious doubts about the comfort of the bracelet. And in fact, it is extremely comfortable. To tell you, this Longines watch, Hydroconquest, is almost as pleasant to wear as my favorite watch, which is a Citizen ProMaster Titan, on which the bracelet is just magical. Here, a very pleasant surprise regarding this bracelet. The mesh of the bracelet is relatively soft, it doesn't pull. The hairs and the handlings are perfectly adjusted. You see, there is no play in the adjustment of the handlings on the case. So no hair pulling in sight. That's actually a very, very good thing. Moreover, the deployant clasp, which is signed with the winged hourglass and which features the 300 meters marking, will allow the bracelet to be adjusted perfectly, since we have half position adjustments. So it's quite nice. Next, we can also, I'll show you this then on the bracelet, Longines has added an extension meant to add a little bit of length for use in diving, of course. We find this on other models such as the Yamaha, Superman, and of course the Rolex C610, where I also have this system. So it allows you to wear your watch without having to use tools to adjust the bracelet. To put your watch over a diving suit, for example, so very, 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 very good thing. Of the pain of the pain, pain of the 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 pain from the device. Two small drawbacks, however, regarding this bracelet in terms of wearing comfort. The links are difficult to remove. These are links where you need a specific tool to push the small bar to remove the link. It's a bit of a shame. Personally, I would have preferred a screwdriver, well, to use a traditional screwdriver with screws instead of this small rod. Then, the second drawback I'll show you. I find that the bracelet is not easy to remove. When wearing the watch on the wrist, opening the deployant clasp is not easy. It closes quite well, but then to open it, moreover, I don't have a crowd, which doesn't help, but to open it, it's not simple. So, well, once again, maybe it's my opinion. I might be the only one with this issue, but, well, there you go. On that side, the deployant clasp is not very easy to unclip. But, well, it's a small detail. It doesn't prevent the watch from being very high quality. Very comfortable, very pleasant to wear. So it's a watch with beautiful dimensions. You see, it fits perfectly on the wrist. And despite its thickness, well, obviously it won't fit under a shirt. But despite its thickness, which is quite substantial as we can see here, in the video, the watch remains very comfortable. Overall, whether it's the case or the quality of the strap, the design is exemplary. And despite a certain weight, the watch is incredibly pleasant to wear, so good point for Longines on this aspect as well. This Longines watch L3.696.4 is no longer available for sale as it was released in 2015, and it has been replaced by the L3.793 range 410, 410, 3, 410, 310, 410. Few changes between the two ranges except for the price, which has skyrocketed. Indeed, this Longines Hydroconquest watch that I am presenting to you today, a 2015 model, was priced at €1,600 catalogue price. The model that replaces this Hydroconquest chronograph is priced at €2,100. So we see a huge leap in prices at Longines between 2015 and 2020. Frankly, I don't know what could justify such a price difference. Well, I can understand that there has been inflation, perhaps an increase in certain raw materials, things like that. However, that doesn't justify such a large gap, especially since the development costs of the movement have been amortized since 2015. So a little disappointment on that front. There you go. That's why it might be interesting to find a 2015-2016 model on the second-hand market rather than buying a new one. Let me explain. The price of a 2015-2016 model on the second-hand market fluctuates between $1,400 and $2,000. In the early versions, we can also say that they were produced in smaller quantities, so the watches are rarer. I know I'm not a big fan of reissues. Having a second-hand watch doesn't bother me at all. The watch has a history, and for me that's actually a good thing. At $1,400, I think it could be an excellent deal. You will even find second-hand models on additional watch sites like Chrono24, La Bête, etc. for less than €1,000 if the watch is not a full set, if it doesn't have the original bracelet, that kind of thing. So that's what we can say about that. For those who prefer to buy new watches, I also understand you should know that Amazon offers excellent value for money on the Longines brand. It's one of the few sites, by the way, that offers several colors for a Longines Hydroconquest chronograph. So there you go. It can be an interesting option if you don't have an AD near you. The advantage of going to an AD is that you have a little room for negotiation. Honestly, I think you can achieve a 20% negotiation on a Hydroconquest, which would bring the watch down to around €1,700 maybe. So there you go. Regarding the packaging of this chronograph, it's very neat, delivered in a simple case, accompanied by a user manual common to several watch references of the brand. The user manual is a huge tome. I don't have it with me. I consulted it. There's nothing exceptional. Everyone knows how to use this kind of watch. So there you go. Not much to say. Decent packaging. A price that some might find a bit high for the Longines brand, since in people's minds, Longines is often considered entry to mid-range. And wrongly so, frankly. Wrongly, because Longines offers very, very good watches in the €1,000-2,000 range. 1,000-2,000 euros, including the Hydroconquest range. And frankly, these are very, very good watches. You can feel the quality of the watch. You can tell it's a watch that has been well thought out with a specific design. It's not inspired by anything else. It's not inspired by a sub. It's not inspired by, I don't know what. It truly imagines its own identity, its own legitimacy in the realm of sporty, automatic watches. My square, my square, my square, square, my square, my square, my square. The price might seem a little bit excessive, but frankly, 1,000-2,000 euro for a Swiss watch of this quality from a brand like Longines, it's still reasonable. Nowadays, compared to other more well-known brands that sell much more expensive products, not necessarily of better quality, Longines is very well positioned. For your information, the main competitors of Longines would be Horace, for example, which is roughly in the same sectors within the same price ranges and with quite equivalent quality. So, well, very, 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 very good watch, very good packaging, excellent value for money. As you might suspect, I instantly fell under the charm of this Longines chronograph. For those who thought that Longines was a mid-range brand or even entry-level mid-range, I can assure you that this Longines Hydroconquest chronograph is indeed a premium timepiece, just like the Macho Parmin Miglia, for example. For me, it's about the same level of finish, even though one is sold for almost twice the price of the other. The arrangement of the chronograph subdials at 3, 6, 9 is clearly an advantage, as it is a layout that is rarer in my opinion than a layout. 6, 9 étoiles. Valjoux, type 7750. I'm speaking about automatic watches, because with quartz watches, the chronograph layouts rarely appeal to me. It is undeniable that Longines has achieved an impressive feat with this Hydroconquest chronograph, which is equipped with the caliber L6882, 688.0. We have here a very beautiful piece. The Swiss brand with the hourglass has successfully combined an original design, a high-performance chronograph movement, and professional capabilities. In aquatic environments, this Longines Hydroconquest chronograph is perfect for daily use. It is elegant, for example during an evening, let's say casual, chic. It is technical enough to also be used for real diving and not just splashing around in your pool, in your little jacuzzi. So, frankly, it's a very, very nice watch. The only downside of this watch is obviously that it's a bit too bulky to be worn. Let's say with a chic-only look, meaning under a suit it's going to be quite complicated because the 15mm thickness remains quite difficult. Under a shirt, it should also be acknowledged that the price matches the specifications of the watch. It's a price that is acceptable for a quality Swiss-designed automatic chronograph watch. It's a price below 2,000 euros. Let's say that knows its customers, obviously. It's a watch that targets customers who can't afford to spend 10,000 euros or 15,000 euros for a Dato or 5,000 euros for, I don't know, for a Seawolf or things like that. So Longines really targets its customers while still offering them design quality, a movement specifically and specially developed for them by it. So honestly, it's a very beautiful watch. For me, it's truly a premium watch. Despite the price and content being under 2,000 euros, we are dealing with a premium watch. Finally, the last thing that I like about this Longines Hydroconquest range is that these are watches that can be found quite easily on the second-hand market, and as a result, the price becomes really affordable. Once again, if you search well, you can find this Longines Hydroconquest for less than 1,000 euros. I'm convinced of it. Maybe not the chrono version, but the chrono version at 1,200 euros, you will find one. And frankly, it's a safe bet. I, by the way, also had the version without the chronos, the Longines Hydroconquest Classic version. Personally, I prefer the chronograph version. I find it has much more character. It's much more refined and distinctive. So that's it for this review on the Longines Automatic Hydroconquest chronograph. Before leaving you, don't forget to click the thumbs up if you haven't done so yet and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It motivates us to create more videos and it will allow you to be notified of the release of our upcoming videos, of course. I also invite you to visit our website www.moonwatch.fr where you can read several reviews of our latest watches. I've received quite a few watches recently, so many publications are coming soon. Finally, don't forget, we are also present on social media, namely Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. To find us, it's simple, just type Moonwatch offer, all together. With that, I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye,